Welcome back. Still in conversation with the SACP's first Deputy General Secretary, Solly Mapaila. Solly, good to have you. Thank you again for staying on. So, did you think about it? Do we have a weak president? What do you think?
No, we don't have a weak president. I mean, he has proven himself to be very decisive. From the first time when he was leader of the ANC, he took a strong decision on ESCOM board, which was drifting the country into a deep crisis. And he took a decisive decision for the Commission on State Capture, including tinkering with the terms of references. And of course, he has taken a decision on SARS, the road that was taking place there, placing Moyani into a process. And I think all those are not small measures, particularly with respect to the level of fraud that was taking place in our country. And of course, even within the framework of the alliance, he has taken very strong steps for engagement and is not afraid to tackle issues. Hence, for instance, we are meeting again because we couldn't finish our meeting over the last few days. We decided to continue again. He has taken very important positions, and I don't think that there's any weakness in that regard.
Has he taken these decisions, or, as the EFF puts it, has our Public Enterprises Minister, Pravin Gordhan, taken these decisions? Who is in control?
No, that's that statement is extremely wrong. And I think it's a statement that you can trace to the previous connection of Momo in the Treasury, that actually a targeted approach is been given when particularly there are supposed to be collective issues. And I think that we should not deviate from the focus of building a united South Africa and focus on dividing our country on the basis of racial connotations. But in this case, there's nothing that, for instance, Comrade Pravin would have done to say he's the actual president. The president has been the president, and he has taken very important decisions, decisive decisions, including, of course, his major focus. He did indicate that his major focus is to rebuild the economy. He just brings in 20 billion of investments into the country. We're not saying investments are all and the be all of to solve our problems, but such a measure should be very much commended.
It certainly should be. However, how does that translate to you and I? Because at the moment, we're struggling with VAT. We're struggling with a fuel price increase that is truly just moving higher and higher, probably going to be moving higher again next month. South Africans are truly struggling at this time. We came in at the beginning of the year with a sense of Ramaphosa, but it doesn't feel that way anymore, because obviously legislative processes need to go through in order to change things, but they cannot be changed right now. South Africans are truly suffering, and you would know that, particularly dealing with people, speaking to people.
Yeah.
So why is it not filtering through? Why are we not feeling that great sense of relief that we should be feeling as we changed the movement, and the movement was changing, and everything for South Africans was going to come that we dreamt of?
I think deep issues need to be resolved, including the matters relating to regulations around fuel increases that are not determined necessarily by government. They're determined both by legislation and then the international increases in the exchange of the dollar and the oil price. But of course, we have said that that matter, we have already placed it on the table, that it must be resolved. And the SACP, together with other components, have called on ministers to come and account on this thing so that we can look at the totality of the tax system and see where there can be measures of relief for the poor. And we'll be possibly announcing some measures in that regard through government. And I think it's a matter that is receiving necessary attention. But of course, the general problems of the capitalist system that is just so rampant on making profit at the expense of the people is something that the entire role players in the economy must come on board to play a role, not just government.
I want to get back just very quickly. We're moving into 7 o'clock, unfortunately, but our President Ramaphosa, and I am being a little bit harsh on it because people are starting to feel more and more frustrated, because he has said, and we started off this interview by saying he doesn't want to cause deep-rooted divisions within the ANC and the alliance partners. However, without causing these divisions, how is he going to root out corruption? If he's trying to play that neutral card and trying to do it in a good way, how do you get to the bottom of corruption where you actually, in a way, need a ruthless president who's going to put his foot down and say, this is unacceptable, corruption, 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 you're out, and you must be held accountable. But he's trying to tread lightly so as to not destroy an alliance, but the alliance may be destroying a country.
No, it's not much that. It mustn't be, firstly, it shouldn't be ruthless, it should be firm. But it should not tiptoe on corruption. That we agree. And it should not even destroy the country just so that it can save the alliance. The country comes first. And I think from that space, we're quite clear as the SACP. He has to act decisively, and state institutions have to act decisively. But it is not much about the internal fights that are at stake. It is pursuing those who have done wrong to the country. And I think that intention still remains, and it has been reaffirmed by the alliance. And of course, given that the alliance have also given him this broad support on to carry out this kind of measures, you'll feel much more emboldened as well that he has carried everyone as he takes action.
Yeah. Final question, Solly, and my apologies to the news team for stealing a minute out of this, but the SACP has continuously threatened that if they don't get more say within the alliance, and if the alliance doesn't solidify itself into being that solid grouping that it once was, you are going to go it alone in 2019. Is this threat still real? Can we see the SACP, if things are not right between you, going alone? And who do you project really would be a part of your constituency?
Well, it's not much about a threat. It's a reality on the basis that the manner in which the alliance was operating was not yielding the necessary results. For instance, where the sitting president was shielding corrupt individuals around him, and we have raised concerns and he could not do anything. So it's a serious question. That is why we are now having a proper discussion in the alliance about changing the manner in which the alliance operates. The document has been tabled. Now other alliance components are making inputs into that particular document. Based on that, we'll then be able to move forward. But at the moment, as we speak, where the status quo remains, that is, we are working through the alliance-led process for elections campaign to defend our revolution, to sustain and deepen it going forward. But it's not a blank check to the ANC or to the alliance components. And I think our members have made it very clear that either we change the alliance or they go it alone.
All right. Solly, thank you for talking to us. Solly Mapaila is the SACP's first Deputy General Secretary. The time is